My only venture at this moment is re-establishing control over this continent and every person on it.
All my allies are gone. I'm losing.
You can count on the Iron Bank as soon as the gold arrives.
Enough with the clever plans.
Hey guys, Pete here. This is going to be my Game of Thrones Season 7 Episode 4 trailer breakdown. You just saw the trailer, it looks pretty awesome. I have to say I felt a little more invested in Episode 3, even though I liked the first two. I thought this one was the best so far, but I'll talk about that in my recap and review, which will come out after this. So we start off and we see Tycho Nostaris from the Iron Bank of Braavos. We see that he's there to talk with Cersei, and she looks pretty smug because she knows that she's going to be able to make good, or at least she thinks she's going to be able to make good on their debt to the bank. She tells them that her only venture at the moment is to take control of this continent and every person on it, which is pretty ominous, I would say. But from her perspective at this point, things are definitely going her direction. After Tycho and Cersei, we cut to the beach where we see that the king in the north and Daenerys the queen are meeting with their closest council. It's not exactly clear why they're on the beach here. This could be before they enter into that cavern that we've seen for the dragon glass. But, you know, there's no boats nearby, so it's not like Jon's leaving at this moment or anything. We see Theon land here later, but he's not in attendance, so we'll just have to figure that part out. We see that the very confident queen that Jon met when he first came into the throne room is now in a different position. She says, "All my allies are gone, I'm losing." Now, the unfortunate reality here is that there's not much Jon would really be able to do to help her. And as I said in my video about their meeting, he really has no motivation to do that. He knows the threat's coming from the north and that it doesn't matter who's going to be sitting on the throne if everyone's dead. So her fortunes have turned pretty quickly after landing in Westeros. After that, we get a couple more Lannister sequences. We see Bronn for the first time. He's with Jaime. They're overseeing the transport of their spoils from Highgarden. We see Cersei talking to Tycho again, and he gives her conditional support, and that condition is on this large cache of gold that we see in the very next scene arriving to King's Landing where he'll get paid. So that's a bit ominous, I would say, but let's move on and we'll talk about it after. From there, we see the cat's paw blade, which has been the stuff of a lot of speculation. We see this is, and it looks like it is Littlefinger for sure. He unsheathes the blade, and that's confirmation that he still has it. What he's doing with it here is not 100% sure. But I have a feeling that now that he knows Bran has arrived, which he wouldn't have been expecting really, he's not as safe as he once was. If he really understands the nature of Bran and what he can do, which I imagine he at least has heard stories of Bloodraven and whatnot, he knows that his lies won't really protect him because Bran is a little bit more powerful than what would be good for his health here. So yeah, let's move on, So we see another shot of Daenerys then, and now she's going on offense. I don't know what a better way to describe it would be. She says, quite simply, enough with the clever plans, which means she's ready to bring fire and blood in my interpretation of that statement. You guys can let me know what you think, but then we get a few more sequences of different images. We see the convoy traveling with Jaime watching over it. We see Jon Snow lighting a torch underground. We see Pod hit the ground, probably still sparring with Brienne like we've seen before. We see Theon has made it back to Dragonstone. He's landed on the shore. Get another shot of Jon and Daenerys, and I guess this scene does tie together why they were on the beach. Could be before this or could be after this, but yeah, he's got Daenerys and Missandei following him, and they're going in to look at the dragon glass. See Littlefinger with a uncharacteristic nervous kind of look on his face. He's definitely deep in thought there. A sequence of Brienne looking tough. She's bringing her sword down. I've seen some people say that this might be a beheading, but it doesn't have that look at all to me. I mean, it looks like she's in the practice yard. I feel like there'd be a ceremonial kind of setup if it was her chopping off somebody's head. Then we see Arya looking at Winterfell. So she is coming back. I guess we'll see her there in her arrival next episode. Get a quick shot of Sansa. She's got some parchment in front of her, and we don't know who she's talking to here. You can guess. And then we see the closing shot of the dragon swooping down. You can see Daenerys on Drogon's back there. And we can see that she's putting into motion her idea about letting go of those plans and bringing down some fire. We gotta guess that this is gonna be related to that convoy that we saw, right? I mean, we've seen that battle goes down in the trailer. So yeah, that's coming up. She's gonna attack. So yeah, it was a good episode, episode 3. It was a good trailer here to get the hype going. I think it is safe to say that everybody's positions sort of switched around. And I assume that they're going to continue to do that throughout this part of the season. I don't think anybody's ever really going to win. So we see that Daenerys tried it the way that her advisors told her to. Cersei basically outclassed Tyrion. Cersei and Jaime, I should say. Jaime is in charge of the army after all. She's taken some major blows, probably regretting the fact that she didn't just walk in and take King's Landing, as Yara said at this point. But that's it. You know, there's not much anything can happen about that. So now we're going to see her do it the Targaryen way and the Dothraki way. So that's going to be for some pretty good action, I think. It does appear that Jon's going to get his dragon glass. It does appear that the bank is not going to be pleased if that gold doesn't make it back to King's Landing. Now, if Jaime is smart, he'll figure out a way to get that gold back no matter what. Everything else can kind of go to the wayside, but he's going to be in a battle. I mean, we've seen in the trailers, he's basically fighting for his life. So I don't think there's a good chance that that's going to make it back. Littlefinger pulling out the cat's paw is definitely some serious foreshadowing about his situation and his look. I mean, he could try to kill Bran. That might be what's going on here, but we also know that Arya has arrived, or she is arriving, so we don't know what the sequence of things are. But there's going to be 3 Starks in Winterfell. That's all good news. Littlefinger is at a very weak position, maybe the weakest position he's been in. Brienne's there to protect Sansa. We've seen that. I guess that's what that's for there, right? And I have to say, in the last episode, I liked the new Sansa. Everybody always loves to hate Sansa, but I like the way she was handling Littlefinger, and I think that she has advanced. And then another thing to get hyped about here, beyond Daenerys taking things into the dragon's hands, or whatever you want to say, Theon arriving at Dragonstone while Jon is there, I mean, we gotta assume that that's what's going on, should make for a very interesting encounter. All right, so that's about it. I'll leave it there. I'm going to get on to my recap and review. I'm going to rewatch again and get ready to do that. So please like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Then hit the little notifications thing after the subscribe so you'll know when my new videos come out. I'm doing a full schedule, I have been, so check my videos from last week and check out my recap and review when that comes out. Follow me on Twitter and my other social media accounts, and thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.